Alright troops, strong and conditioned, live and direct from the patio of pain. So if there's one element of the burpee that rears its head in the comments on both Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, it's the stomach strike. People seem to be wildly confused with the stomach strike. Not only do they seem wildly confused, but they get triggered somewhat. They get really annoyed. They start to fire in the comments, telling you it's pointless. But is the stomach strike really pointless? Well, let's explore the stomach strike. First and foremost, what are the origins of the stomach strike? I'm not entirely sure. However, I have been told on a few occasions it stems from prisoners, particularly the Latino community, who would strike their abs in order to reinforce them or toughen them up so that they could anticipate, say for example, an attack with a blade. Now whether this is true or not, I'm not entirely sure, but it seems completely viable to me. However, burpee practitioners or people who like to just do burpees do not do the stomach strike in order to ensure that when they're walking down a dark alley and they get mugged, their abs will protect any knife attack. That's not the case. Stomach strike has many uses. The first use of the stomach strike is that it helps to brace the abs and glutes in particular before performing the burpee. The one thing we need to look at in the burpee is that due to the fact there is a lot of spinal flexion that occurs, we need to make sure we are going into every rep with a degree of focus centered on technique. Your technique needs to be laser focused in order to mitigate the incidence of injury. Therefore, the stomach strike is the perfect cue to ensure that our abs and glutes, or core, if that's what you want to call it, are braced before we launch into the move. And in that respect, it creates a mindfulness, which means we are fully absorbed with the exercise because we do not want to mess this up. On burpee, and you are a slip away from injuring yourself, and we need to prevent that because we like to do burpees. Therefore, in that respect, the stomach strike helps us set up mentally through the action of bracing our abs and glutes before we launch into the exercise. Number two, the stomach strike acts as a metronome for the burpees. We use the stomach strike to establish a pace which allows us to complete a high rep burpee set. Also provides a rhythmic quality, which means that we get lost in the movement itself. And this is very helpful for a lot of people, particularly when you're doing counts. Many a time when you're doing 6 counts, your mind can wander. And what will happen is you will lose the count, and a lot of burpee guys will attest to this. It can be quite stressful because you have that rep target in mind. Next thing you know, you're thinking about the electricity bill that you've got coming and you've missed 2 reps. And when you're performing 1,000 burpees, you don't want to be performing any more than that because it's grueling enough. Therefore, every count needs to be logged in. Every count needs to be absorbed and it needs to be remembered because we do not want to be going overboard in some respects. Now, even more so for burpee practitioners who are filming a video, they've put their challenge up, they're doing 500 burpees and they lose their count. It's easily done. Therefore, the stomach strike in that respect allows us to become completely absorbed in the burpee itself and have a higher degree of focus on the repetition, which means we will not lose count. Number 3, and this is probably a continuation of number 2, is that it sets the pace. If there's one thing that burpee guys have taken on board and realised is that pace is so important. When you begin your burpee journey, pacing is an afterthought. It's something that you really haven't got your head wrapped around at that moment in time. And it is a dose of reality because pacing is going to allow you to accumulate higher numbers overall. And when you don't have a degree of pacing, then things start to go all over the place. But pacing is something that comes with time. Over repeated burpee sessions, you begin to develop a degree of pacing and the stomach strike ties in with that. pacing is so important. Stomach striking, due to its degree of focus, also allows us to ensure that rep quality is high. Rep quality is paramount in the burpee community because the standard needs to be set in that respect. And you always need to ensure your reps are crisp and clean. Therefore, there needs to be a ritual movement at the beginning of said rep to ensure that that is achieved. Now, the issue with the stomach strike is that people look at it as an aesthetic quality which offers no purpose. And in some respects, they are right. The stomach strike is not essential. You can perform burpees without using a stomach strike. Some of us like to have that cue to ensure that the factors that will create a successful burpee fall into place. If you choose to stomach strike, fill your boots. It will enhance your burpee. It will bring a certain je ne sais quoi to your burpee. However, don't feel you need to stomach strike. But most importantly, you have to remember that if you do stomach strike, block out the white noise. Guys will come in and they will criticise the stomach strike because they hate it. They think it's showboating. They seem to think it is completely pointless. However, we burpee guys know otherwise. So any advice to you burpee practitioners that comes from myself is stomach strike away. Bang those abs hard, squeeze those glutes tight, and make sure those burpees are crisp and clean. Anyway guys, just getting the message out there, stomach strike all the way. Thank you for staying strong and thank you for staying conditioned.